Alright, let's get to it. My top 10 most hilariously useless armor from retro games. Why retro games? Because there's just way too many games, I have to narrow it down. Even just MMORPGs alone, the vast majority of the armor is amusingly impractical. So yeah, I'm just going with everything up until the year 2000, and these are all games that I've played myself. Alright, number 10 is Charlotte from Samurai Showdown. Now, Samurai Showdown on Neo Geo is awesome, one of my favorite fighting game series. And Charlotte is also one of my favorite characters. The armor, well, it's a cool looking design, and great animation too. I really like the way it shifts around, but the sheer size. I mean, Hanzo already has oversized pauldrons, but at least they're not as disproportionate to his frame. Each of Charlotte's pauldrons is basically the size of her entire upper body. It looks like she's wearing literal tank parts or half a robot. And just pauldrons, breastplate, and small poleanes. The head, arms, stomach, legs, all exposed. Yet the amount of metal she is wearing looks like it would be enough for a full suit of armor. I imagine the armorer asked Charlotte, "Do you want to be lightly or heavily armored?" And all she said was, yes. I also like how she has metal fangs on the breastplate that would stab her in the hips or the thighs if she tried to bend forward. But then again, she also thinks that fighting in stiletto high heels is a good idea. Number 9, Sophitia. I'm referring to the first game in the series, so Soul Edge. Arguably, you can call this just an outfit, but I think what little she does have would classify as armor. Well, the pauldrons and shin guards do at least. The metal bra is another story. Sophitia doesn't strike me as a narcissistic type, but protecting the breasts only while leaving the rest of the chest exposed to blades and whatnot, I get it, sensitive parts. But I'm pretty sure the heart and lungs are even more sensitive. There comes a point where armor is so minimalist, it might as well not be there. I really don't think covering like 15% of your body with metal plates is worth the hassle. You might as well fully commit to being the unarmored agile type. Maybe instead of buying bits of armor, she could afford a larger shield too. Number 8 is Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins and Ghouls and Ghosts. You're probably thinking, what could be useless about a knight's full suit of armor? Especially on the cover of Super Ghouls and Ghosts, the armor is surprisingly realistic. Even more so in a game with monsters and magic and stuff. Well, if you've played the games, you probably know why it's on the list. Touch an enemy and the armor explodes right off you, leaving you in your underwear. Either Arthur is not wearing any kind of padded undergarment, or it disintegrates along with the metal plate. Either way, it's the ultimate armorer scam. Just keeps the customer coming back for more. Disposable armor. Might as well call it Gangnam Style armor for the one-hit wonder it is.
Gangnam Style!
Number 7, the crown. I take Diablo 1 as an example, but many games have crowns, tiaras, or headbands as armor. Sure, headbutting someone in the nose with one of these would be nasty, but head protection that doesn't cushion the blow and doesn't protect the second most vulnerable part of your head, the crown of the head. Wearing one of these, you're basically just saying you don't care if you die as long as you die with style. Head bling may look cool, but unless you've got magic enchantments, I wouldn't go intercepting sword strikes with one of these. Liches totally get away with it though. They don't need protection like weak, squishy oxygen addicts. And necromancers. Who needs armor when you've got a wall of skeletons shielding you? But for everyone else, as far as useless armor is concerned, this is the crowning achievement. On to number 6, Simon Belmont from Super Castlevania 4. Still one of my all-time favorite games. Good old Castlevania 4 Simon, the only one who truly masters the whip. His choice of armor seems to be more about showing off his mad gains than about protection though. Stylish but useless headband, what looks like leather tassets of sorts, pauldrons, and half a breastplate or chest guard or whatever. Those rock hard abs are natural armor, I guess. And he seems to be wearing that stuff on top of naked skin. Can you imagine the horrific nipple chafing the poor guy has to go through while dodging Medusa heads and shit? And who needs arm protection or even clothing when you can just put on some leather wrist bracers like the fantasy equivalent of 90s slap bracelets? Number 5, Percival from Knights of the Round. This dude seems to really love one side of his body and hate the other. I'm guessing he's supposed to age during his quest. He goes from a young blonde gym rat with a bowl cut who ran out of money at the armorer's shop to a more and more roided out, bearded Aquaman impersonator who's like, nah brah, symmetrical armor is for noobs, until eventually becoming a bald medieval half cyborg in stripper briefs who dyes his beard brown. It's probably unfair to expect sound tactical decisions from a dude with a head that's literally no larger than his bicep. I wonder if he only has one testicle. Moving on. By the way, Ivy from Soul Calibur also seems to subscribe to the school of asymmetry, but in her case you could argue the armored left arm is more of a weapon, since she doesn't have any other armor. The BDSM outfit sacrifices protection for distraction. Number 4 is Zhang from Dynasty Warriors, the first one on PS1. Now him and Percival are probably best buddies. Strap some random plates to your left pec and shoulder, some knee guards for the oncoming arthritis, and you're good to go. And of course, stylish purple snap-on bracelets. Can't go to battle without fabulous accessories. So when you're trying to stab this guy in the chest, it becomes a fun game of, can you sever one of the straps at the same time as puncturing an organ? In later Dynasty Warriors games, the armor looks more like inconvenient fashion wear, aside from the solid belly plate. Real armor is just too mainstream, bruh. Number 3 is Horny from Dungeon Keeper. This guy needs to make up his mind. Is his demon flesh and skin so supernaturally tough that he doesn't need armor and can fight naked? Or does he need to protect his vitals like anyone else and fully embrace the discomfort of wearing armor? I mean, his junk is almost hanging out, yet apparently all he's worried about getting hit is his shoulders and his legs. He even covers his hooves almost entirely with steel, but his tiny supermodel waist that is already almost snapping in half under the weight of his gigantic upper body, nah. Sensible armor is just too boring for dungeon-dwelling edgelords. Number 2, Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat. Speaking of edgelords, doesn't this outfit just scream, I'll make the world pay for ignoring my evil hardcore necrogrim garage band? I imagine this is what happens when you binge watch He-Man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and every WWF match of the Legion of Doom before plotting your path to world domination. Even back in the 90s, the first time I saw Shao Kahn, I was like, well, this is awkward. Pathetic fool. We get it. You have an impressive bodybuilder physique, and you want to be the Chippendale version of the Shredder. Armor is only an afterthought. Just imagine fighting in something that keeps poking and scraping you with random pointy bits, and that binds up while you're trying to throw punches and kicks. And every time you turn your head, the neck guard of your helmet gets stuck on your shoulder spikes. Meanwhile, 80% of your body enjoys less protection than a sweatshirt. And finally, number 1, almost every character in Weapon Lord. This is one of the Super Nintendo games I loved as a kid and young teenager. Badass fighting game, and one that dared to be different from Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. The art style is unapologetically over the top. You can't get any more stereotypically barbarian than this. Every character is varying degrees of naked, and armor's for pussies. Except in unusably small quantities. Then it's okay. I can respect the way Core does it. The only steel he needs is in his hands. Okay, and on his wrists. Zarek really cares only about one thing. His crotch. Steel skirt, what more do you need? But I think the most hilarious case is Gentai. Throw on some hide rags, squeeze your jugs into a metal bra, and put on a helmet that the most metal goat in that universe had to die for. Boob plate and ram helmet. There you go. Need I say more? And that's all. Hope you got a giggle out of this. Thanks for watching, and have a good one, folks.